we're here now on the old maps of Miami of 1980, when we have these man-made islands spotted on 7 miles from north to south. That was done by the dredging intercoastal waterway, piling the earth and the vegetation started to grow. And we decided to surround this island with floating pink fabric, but in the beginning, the very early sketches, that pink fabric is very light, barely pink, because I was very uneasy with that fabric, you know. This is the very early drawings, and basically some idea.
Yeah. May I ask you, why pink?
That is another important part. You know, when we arrived here, actually, we arrived with Jeanne-Claude before in Miami in the late 70s to lecture, and we discovered for the first time so flat land. There are no mountains, they're flat, a lot of water. Of course, the earth, vegetation, island was all flat land. And of course, one very interesting thing, the air is full of water, many thick air full of water. And everything looks pastel, very washed by the thickness of the. At the same time, we discovered the incredible amount of other people living here, the Latin people that not live in any place in the United States so much like here. And more, we understand that project should be related to that Latin culture who is in the heart of Miami. And this is that shocking pink gum. In all our projects for over 50 years, they're temporary projects. They exist only for a few days, and 2 weeks, 3 weeks maximum, and they're gone. And Jeanne-Claude and myself always try to have some material or some record of that project. This is why all our projects, they're filmed, photographed, and when they remove, we collect components of the project, the real thing, not only documents, archive material, components of the project. That exhibition is exactly the same story. We own this exhibition, they belong to me. But here, understand, the project that time was estimated how cost between $4 or $5 million in that time. I need to start to draw, drawings, to study, and this is the really simple drawings when I use ordinary pinkish fabric. I draw with my own hands, selling this type of works to collectors and dealers around the world. We can have money, pay the payroll of everybody fabricating, manufacturing all these very complex projects. You see these very early drawings, they are done all before. The drawings translate how the project is crystallized visually through the knowing the site. And we, of course, is a huge team of professional people. You should understand, all these projects, they're done on me, Jeanne-Claude. Then the most important is put together enormous amount of professionals to help us with the project. But the very important part, before everything in the world belongs to somebody. There are no 1 square meter in the world don't belong to somebody. And the very beginning, we need to discover from whom we can use and rent the land. And we discover right away that everything starts from the President of the United States Army Corps of Engineers in Jacksonville, to the governor of Florida at that time, Bob Graham, to the Dade County. All the community in Dade County was principal players to give us permission for that project. Other side, you have the permitting process in the authority and administration. You see that from the very beginning, presenting the project to different groups, and always explaining different groups. This is in the Dade County. This is the public hearings, and we have a snack, you know. There was the opposition, come to stop the project, interfere, and finally the project come. This is the only of our project in the last 50 years, come to the United States Federal Court. And this is the case, federal case, drawing of the federal court here during the process, and the entire finding of the case is here. You can do everything, everybody can see the things, how it happened. This is why the exhibition telling really the invisible part for many people, how the project was developing. And then here you have that model who was built in 82 or 81, late 81, to articulate the project, how we look. And this is the Pelican Harbor, and this is the island just around the Pelican. Actually, this is here, our headquarters was there. This is our heliport during the exhibition of the project.
And this was in the main library?
Yes.
This piece.
During for the permitting process, to bring the elected officials to see how the project will be done and to explain to them.
To try to open their minds and give them a taste of your vision for it.
This is the story of the surrounded island. The most difficult part in any of our projects, not only that project, to find right engineers. This is the spring project, and early January, we start to install these thousands of marine anchors deep down in the water. You see, this is the island. Now see what is under the fabric. Nobody knows. This is all a line, like spokes, bicycle spoke, going under the fabric, securing exactly the shape, how the island, this number one, this is another island, how they were intricately designed in the fabric, was fabricated now in Germany. Non-stop, around the clock, day and night, they was doing, moving this thing in the water here, and from there, here, like installing the underwater, the anchors. The little dot is exactly all these anchors down in the water. One that was installed, start unfurling of the fabric and lacing the fabric together to become one single piece. Here you can see how the fabric was unfurled from the end, like a fisherman. There, each island have a group of young people working with their own captain. They unfurl the fabric here in the water, all these lines, and they start to lacing together all these separate sections. And this is all the story of the project. But there was no any sewing space so big that we can use it. This is our project director, Ted Doherty from Colorado, decided to build huge sewing plant around Opelika when we did something incredibly clever. Instead to move the fabric, the sewing machine was moving on railroad tracks. And this is why the track was open and the day was moving instead usually moving the fabric. One that fabric was sewn on this many sections, like this one section. Now to come to the very complicated story, to folding the fabric and a huge, like big sausages, long sausages, like sometimes very long, and someplace. And we'll rented Opelika Blim hangar. And you see here, they're folding the fabric.
Wow.
They're folding the fabric in many sections. This folding fabric was sent to the Interama, north of the site of the project, where the young people need to put that special ending of the fabric, the boom, octagonal shell boom, that can stop the debris of the water going over the fabric.
Obviously, you did find a lot of help down here to help make it happen, and the community came together.
Yes, and of course, many story, like so funny, very funny, very revealing story. We have a professional people, but we have a huge amount of non-skilled workers to install that fabric. Each island have a captain, and that captain was involving taking care there, but the work was positioned to the island, working non-stop until the night, and the boat was coming to take the arms, supplying them food. And we ran out of workforce. We were trying to employ all the students, young people, etc. And suddenly there was something coming so beautiful. There was the Haitian refugee just arriving at that time, and they was all speaking French. And my son, who was the captain of island number 8, was speaking French. Jeanne-Claude said, Cyril, you should be captain of island 8. We send you all the Haitian workers with you that he can give command of French to work that.
Oh, that's wonderful. We incorporated the Latin culture, the Haitian culture, all the culture of Miami.
People don't understand how this project affects, because we never do commissions. The journey of the project is the work of art.
Yes.
All our projects have two distinct periods, the software period and the hardware period. For 3 years before the Surrounded Islands was realized, there was 3 years of journey that I do not know. To that journey, the project built his impact to the space, to the permitting process, because we discover what is the project through the permitting process. In the last 50 years, we realized only 23 projects, and we get permission for 47 projects.
Wow. And
this is why usually the art world do not understand. This project, they're beyond painting a sculpture. Their project was something a different realm of the visual experience. To the software period, when the project is only my drawings and the mind of the people who try to stop us, and the mind of people who have to help us, the project built all identity, all energy. In the hardware period, when the project finally will build the physical 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, real water, not photograph of water, not film of the water, the real 7 miles, the real wind, the real hot, the real wet. all is the real, not virtual reality. This project engaged the real reality of things, the real human relation. All our projects have this relation to the space, and they stay. You know, exhibition cannot substitute the project, but the exhibition at least gives some kind of links with the real thing. This is why all this material use of the project, we are very careful to exhibit it to people to see the real things. Not only photography, but the real documents, the real archive material, the real invisible part, because everybody sees only like that, but what is underneath and the water and around that fabric. I know that there was already Museum of Contemporary Art, who was the origin of that museum at the beginning. There was the number of collectors we have, but there was no way to speculate in 1993 what Miami is today. You know, really, it's unthinkable. And of course, in some way, probably that was helping, I don't know.
Well, at the very least, a project of this scale in the city inspired so many artists, just to see what's possible.
Yeah. For me, Jeanne-Claude and many friends who worked together for a long time, is like an incredible life of adventure, you know, with something so unique that I never did it. It's risky, you know, many things sometimes not happen well, and all that is keep you alive. This is probably the biggest pleasure I have, that still 83 I can do that. That to be face that challenge and to take my brain working. Jeanne-Claude and myself, each time we do project, the place became part of ourselves, you know. And we always like to be back on the site of the project, like criminals who return the the crimes. We love to be back to Australia, and the coastline we did over 50 years ago. We returned back over the running fence, we returned back to Paris and the Reichstag. And of course, this is part of my blood, of my life, of my incredible journey in my life, who I will never forget. And this is why we do project. I will never looking for some retrospective things. Often artists my age like to have a retrospective. I always say to our friends, they will do retrospective when I'm dead. I like to do the new things because doing this project kept me at the age of life. This is something all they knew. I will never do another surround sound. I will never do another gate or wrap a bridge. They're all unique pieces, and I do not know how to do it. Many specialists we hire, they don't know how to do it. It's never built like that. And that journey is the part of the project.